Music Podcasts.
Hi guys, welcome to Learn Kenyan Law with Wanjiku. I am really glad you're back. I am your host, Wanjiku Mwangi. And today I am joined in by a very interesting individual who is going to introduce herself. Karibu sana Miss Aruka, introduce yourself.
Asante sana Wanjiku for inviting me here today. Karibu. And I'm well pleased to be among the guests of today's discussion.
Yes, karibu sana. And so for today's discussion, the theme is about encouraging women to participate in politics, and we're also encouraging the general public to also believe in the women who are trying to campaign that they can actually do this job. So what is your take when it comes to women participating in politics?
I would say that when it comes to women participating in politics, or even in any sector that they can take leadership on, I believe that women are a powerful change. True. And I believe that with them taking positions in these sectors or even in this politics, they can bring change because women are carers, because women are givers.
Yes,
and
sure.
I believe that there is that inclusivity when it comes to a woman participating in politics.
Yeah, so generally, I really understand what you mean. You're generally talking about the fact that we have women in politics is all about inclusivity. It's all about diversity. We're also saying that women are caring people. You know, personally, I actually believe women see the future. You know, they're able to paint the future in a very bright way, so to speak. I also believe that when we're having a woman in a leadership position, for example, in politics, so to speak, I feel like that provides a platform for inspiration to our younger people. You know, they become good mentors to our younger people and the rest of the girls, so to speak. So I don't know, would you really, from where you're sitting from, are you a champion of women in politics specifically? Because most of us feel like politics is a man game, you know, for the men only.
I do believe politics is for everyone.
Yes.
So long as there is that what you're bringing to your people, or even what you're bringing to that constituency that you're vying for.
Yeah.
And I believe that if women can participate in politics and be supported by these men and even be supported by the general public, I believe that they can bring change.
You know, I really understand what you're trying to say. You're saying that women are generally powerful agents of change. And what I'm also getting from you is that there's a lot of benefits when it comes to diversity. You know, when we're having a leadership which is diverse, when we also have a leadership that is gender parity, things become easier, so to speak. And so so as we're delving into this matter, I'd also want us to talk about the history of women in leadership when it comes to, you know, here in Africa. Because sometimes you hear people reasoning and saying that, you know, women belong in the kitchen, women belong in the, you know, giving birth room, you know, or a woman should not even probably leave the house. Let's talk about the history that we have as Africans, even as Kenyans, when it comes to leadership. And I'm talking about 1915, 1900s, 1800s. That's the kind of history I want us to talk about. Let me lead this discussion with Mekatilili Wamenza, who was also called Mnyazi Wameza. So Mekatilili Wamenza is a very instrumental woman leader, actually very inspiring to me personally. And from what I know when it comes to Mekatilili Wamenza is that he was really passionate about Kenyan independence. She was actually an activist when it came to, you know, ensuring that our borders were protected against the British invasion. I don't know if you've heard about her. Have you heard about Mekatilili Wamenza?
Yes, I have heard about Mekatilili Wamenza, and my cue that she was a powerful woman in making decisions and even fighting for against colonial regime. Yeah, and I believe that she did a good job, and the community believed in her because what she fought for brought change to that community.
Yeah, so true. And you remember, she number one, when she was fighting for Kenyan independence as an activist, she was a widow. Let us remember that. And when we're talking about the Giriama people, we're talking about in Kilifi County specifically. So if we're looking at our history, and as you've said, Miss Aruka, you've said that the motivation was economic and social cultural concern. So basically, we're saying that according to Mekatilili Wamenza, she was really concerned about, preventing the laborers from being employed by the colonial authorities. If we can remember very well, we remember that during colonization, there was a lot of forced labor. So basically, this woman who was a leader in her community was trying to protect her people against being, exploited when it came to providing labor to the colonialists. Another important thing that I'd also want us to mention when it comes to Mekatilili is that she was also really concerned about the Western influence in terms of the fact that it was eroding the Giriama culture. So these two were actually some of the most important foundations in terms of what really motivated her in, becoming an activist when it came to preventing the British from colonizing us and invading our territory. Yeah, so what are your 2 cents about that? What is another thing that you feel like Mekatilili did?
I feel like where you have said about culture, I felt like when these colonizers came to Kenya, definitely they wanted us to be like them, and they wanted us to act like them, in the sense that we forget our culture. And what I know in Africa, culture defines us, and culture gives us that specific identity. Yes. So in her fighting against this colonizers, yes, I believe that was a very strong and powerful move. Because up to date, yes, we have this generation, but in that generation, we the parents, we can still, or we with the women, we can still instill that culture in this, to these young generations.
Yes, for sure, and they really need it. And another thing that I remember about Mekatilili Wamenza is that when these British colonialists came, and specifically, let's talk about the specific administrator who was known as the Arthur Champion. Arthur Champion went to her community and she gave demands to the people. He was there telling the people what he really expected of them, what should be done. And Mekatilili was very instrumental in opposing what this specific British person was saying. And Mekatilili went ahead and even gave a verbal oath that she's not going to be involved with all these, all the demands that this specific person was talking about. If we can also remember from history, all this I learned just from our history in class, I remember. We remember when we were talking about Mekatilili Wamenza is that I remember there was a time she held a large meeting and she was able to administer an oath to both men and women. And basically when they were taking this oath, they were vying to never cooperate with the colonial authorities. And even when we read our history more, you're going to see that some of these people the researchers who talk about Mekatilili Wamenza, they used to say that her people used to avoid cooperating with the colonial authorities, but they respected the oath that they took. So for me, this as a woman shows me that women are able to, drive their community, and conquer something. For example, if the task is not letting someone invade our territory, a woman is a warrior. From what I'm seeing from Mekatilili Wamenza was a warrior. And, we've talked about the fact that she was just a widow. Yeah, so I don't know, do you have anything to add when it comes to Mekatilili?
I want to say that even if a woman is widowed, there is that drive that drives her, and she wants to prove to this community that actually a woman can lead, and actually a woman can perform better than men. Because in Giriama community, there was that space where a woman could air out their views, and where a woman could, give her mind, give her thought. And you've just spoken about giving the oath. In the African culture, one taking an oath was deemed as a
it was actually a very serious thing. People didn't take oath just for nothing.
Yes, and you could abide by that oath.
Yeah.
Failure to you abiding by that oath had consequences.
Yes, for
and
sure.
Since we believe that Mekatilili had the best interest of her community, and due to her fight against the colonial, led to some consequences that
for sure it did lead to some consequences, because at the end of it all, we remember that she was actually arrested and exiled in Kisii. She was taken to Kisii from Kilifi County. She was exiled to Kisii. However, from history, we see that 5 years later, she returned to her native area, and she was still able to continue with the fight of opposing the colonialists. So basically, from what we've talked about Mekatilili, who is a very instrumental woman here in Kenya, here in Giriama, when it comes to the Giriama people in Kilifi County, this is a figure that is actually a lot of inspiration to even us as women and us, our younger generation. Let's talk about someone else called Queen Ndate Yala. Miss Aruka, have you heard of Queen Ndate?
Yes, I have heard about Queen Ndate Yala, and she's from Senegal.
Yeah.
And she was from Walo Kingdom.
Yes. Yeah. You remember from history, most of us as Africans, we had kingdoms. We did not actually really have countries per se. This is something that came up later after the Berlin Conference, so to speak. But I really like Queen Ndate Yala, because Queen Ndate was really instrumental in fighting against the French colonization. This is a woman who was leading an army of more than 20,000 men to fight against the French colonizers from coming inside her territory. And if we remember this specific kingdom, number one, it was ruled by a woman. And when she was still undergoing this fight against the French colonialists, she was actually also working together with her sister. And I remember when we started, we talked about the element of, a woman being a good person when it comes to working as a team.
Yeah.
I don't know what else can you remember about Queen Ndate Yala?
I remember that while she was, working side by side by her sister, and whereby he also took the throne.
Yes.
She fought against the Moors or the Traza who were encroaching the territory.
Yeah.
I mean, when we look at this history of this woman, there is that protection.
Yeah.
Because when we come to women, even taking care of their children, there will be protection and there will be boundaries where you, as a mother, or you as a woman, you will fight so hard for this child.
Yeah.
In the sense that
you're basically protecting one of your own.
Yes.
Yeah. So I hear you talking about maternal nature. We're saying that our maternal instincts are also very instrumental in however we're conducting our leadership, because if I am leading a community, for example, if I'm a leader of Kenya, if I'm a senator of, Naivasha, or I'm a senator of Nairobi as a woman, I am basically protecting all the people in Nairobi. My maternal instincts are still kicking. So basically, as I remember, you really actually even said at our introduction, you said that women are really instrumental when it comes to taking care of other people. So that is actually what you're seeing when it comes to Queen Ndate.
Yes.
Interesting. Another thing that I remember about Queen Ndate is the fact that she was a signatory and a co-signatory of many official documents when it came, when they were negotiating between France and the Walo Kingdom. So what does that in itself depicts as a woman who is able to make decisions.
Yes.
A woman who is able to sign to an agreement, and if you go against this agreement, this woman is very vocal in saying that these are the consequences if you go against this. Yeah.
And I believe that Queen Ndate signing these documents that were in the interest of the community against the French, it really shows that women should actually be empowered to to be given education equally
Yes.
as men.
Yeah.
And when you teach a woman, definitely just know that you have taught a nation, you have taught
a community. So basically, when one woman is enlightened, you have enlightened the whole community, so to speak.
Yes.
Great. So let's talk about another instrumental figure when it comes to women in leadership in terms of our history. And this is Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Mataba. I don't know if you've heard about Queen Nzinga of Ndongo.
I've heard of her partially. Yes.
And you remember this queen is from Angola. So right now, the place is called Angola. So Queen Nzinga was actually, one of the things I remember about this queen specifically is that she received military and political training as a child. And you see the way you're saying that once you educate a woman, you're educating a whole community.
Yeah.
So basically, from the military and political training that Queen Nzinga received as a child, it was very instrumental in her reign, because later she became a queen. And we saw that she really demonstrated a lot of, energy when it comes to diffusing political crises, because she was an ambassador of Angola when they were trying to protect against the Portuguese, invasion, so to speak. So Queen Nzinga is actually very instrumental when it comes to negotiation. When I hear Queen Nzinga, I hear of a woman who was able to negotiate on behalf of her community. And this is what we're saying, that women in leadership are also capable of negotiating on behalf of both men and women. So I don't know if there's anything else we can talk about when it comes to Queen Nzinga.
Wow. Wanjiku, when you say that Queen Nzinga was military trained and politically trained as a child, that means a lot to this gender.
Yeah, for sure.
As a woman, because I believe that women were believed to be in the kitchen and even train their children, take care of their.
Yeah.
I just want to say that the history of Queen Nzinga really ignites power and really ignites strength of a woman, because a woman joining military is not something that can happen.
Yeah, it's not something easy. Even a woman in military
easy. And surviving that training.
Yeah,
it is really something.
It is really something. Even actually, when I walk and I see women in the police department, I have a lot of respect for them. Women in the police department, women in the KDFs, women in the Marine, women in the Army. I'm like, my goodness, you people. The strength that is emanating from just me as a woman, seeing a fellow woman in leadership in terms of even protecting our country. So I have a question. If we are able to give chance for a woman to participate in the police, to participate in the army, to participate in the marine, to participate in all that. Basically that woman is protecting our country. That woman is putting her life on the line. Then why not do we like really second guess ourselves when it comes to electing a woman in a position?
I don't know why people second guess when electing or even selecting a woman. It does not matter whether a woman is a persons with disabilities.
Yes.
Don't look at the external. Look at what this woman is bringing to the table, and look at the policies that this woman is actually bringing to this community.
Yeah.
Because the world has changed, and everything is changing, whereby women are being empowered to educate, to education, and women are being empowered to take positions in even corporate sectors, and even women are being empowered to lead. Look at how in the judiciary system, Martha Koome, and even the magistrate and judges who are being appointed by the JSC, you will see that they are women, and I'm really grateful that Kenya is now seeing this and seeing that when we give these women this chance, then definitely there will be a gradual change when it comes to these positions.
So it's fruitful, so to speak.
And
the other day I was reading an article from the Council of Legal Education, and they were saying, it was actually I think a tweet, and they were saying that they have admitted more women than men this time.
Wow.
So not only are we talking about women, not only are we talking about Mother Kome, we're also saying that women also see this as an inspiration. When I see that the chief, the head of judiciary is a woman, as a young lawyer and a woman, I am motivated. I am like, so there is a space for me as a woman in this, at this particular field. And as we've talked about Queen Zinga, and we've said like Queen Zinga was really instrumental when it came to negotiation, and she was also a fighter of her people, because she was protecting her, her territory from Portuguese invasion for like 37 years.
True.
So again, then we see an element of a woman protecting her community again, as we keep on saying that once you give a woman an elective position, once you give a woman an opportunity to lead, be guaranteed that your interests is at heart.
True.
When it comes to leadership to that woman,
Yes.
So can we speak about another important queen, who is the Queen of Kush, known as Queen Amani Renas?
Yes, we can. We can speak about her.
So have you heard about the Queen of Kush?
I've heard a little bit about Queen of Kush. She was from Kush Kingdom.
Yes.
And she led the Kushites army against the Romans in a war that lasted 3 years.
And 3 years is such a long period of time.
Yes. And mark you, it was a woman who was leading this war. So now, guys, please tell me, why should we not? Why should we not elect? Why should Kenya not elect women?
Why should we not elect women in this election that we are going to? I like the way you're asking it. Kindly just send us a message. If you feel like we should not be electing a woman during this election, feel free to engage us in this discussion, because right now I'm really motivated by the Queen of Kush, Queen Amani Renas, so to speak. Because she was able to lead a fight that lasted for 3 good years. Do you know what 3 years is to a woman? You've already had your menstrual period. You've already had your cramps. If you are giving birth, you gave birth during this 3-year period, and you are still able to lead these people in war against trauma and invasion. You are still able to conduct your duties, So sometimes I hear people saying that, sometimes a woman will need a maternity leave. There are actually people who are not really are not good advocates when it comes to employing women, because they are guaranteed in a span of 2 years that woman will leave the office for like 5 months or
True.
so.
Yes.
So if this woman was able to lead, she's also known as the Nubian Queen. If this Nubian Queen was able to leave all that and, protect her own territory from the Portuguese invasion for 3 good years.
It is all about the best interest of a community.
Exactly.
All about the best interest of that those group of people. Because guys, women, if they are given this chance, which I know and I believe that we Kenyans, we are learned and we are evolving. Yes, believe that give these women
a
chance. Don't look at the qualifications, which I believe they're not qualified enough, because I believe some people will ask, are you married? Do you have a husband? Do you have a child? Do you have, I don't know what else? I just want to say that that does not qualify me running for this position. What qualifies me is what I'm bringing
to the table.
To the table for my community.
For sure. And I really agree with you. And I like the way you're putting it. Whether I have a child or not, whether I am married or not, whether I am pregnant or not, I can still do my duties very nicely, probably even better than people who are not married or a fellow man. So that should not be a factor that you're supposed to be looking at it and you're asking yourself, should I really give Wanjiku? Should I really vote for Wanjiku when she's vying for, I don't know, a senatorial or an MCA seat? Let's also talk about another important queen who, led the Ashanti Empire, which is currently Ghana.
Yes.
That is Queen Ashantewa. I am definitely sure you've heard about Queen Ashantewa, and you've definitely heard about Ashanti Empire, because I remember this from our, geography lessons and history lessons in high school. So, what can you say about Queen Ashantewa?
She inspired her community. Especially the women.
Yeah.
She talked that women, we should take up the challenge if these men cannot take up the challenge.
Yeah.
That really means that she was ready to fight for the community, and she was ready and willing to give to bring production economically, socially, and politically.
Yeah.
Give her views in this position.
Yeah.
Because just a minute. Gathering your community, either all the genders in that community, and telling them that, or even encouraging women to fight and even to take up challenge. It really means, it really brings change, and a positive change, because sometimes we can't say that we are leaving this position for men.
Yeah.
We shall leave these positions for men, and at the end of the day we find that men are not really taking up to those positions.
Yeah. Or acting the way they're supposed to act when they are holding that position. And I'm really interested in the fact that you've mentioned the fact that Queen Ashantewa inspired the leaders of a community, and she was basically telling them that if the men in this community are not ready to defend their people, then the women are going to rise up to the challenge.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot, even about that community that was living in the Ashanti Empire. Those women,
they believed in Queen Aya.
They really believed in Queen Ashantewa. And, even the women in that kingdom, if women in that kingdom are capable to protect their own community, then what does that tell you, about them? Because basically they were trying to fight the British Empire. All these women were talking about, they're trying to prevent colonizers from, getting into their territory. So even Queen was talking about, I am preventing the British people from entering to Ghana, because remember, the Ashanti Empire is currently now located in Ghana. So and basically, if I really remember correctly, when we're talking about Queen Ashantewa, it was all about the War of the Golden Stool. It was about the War of the Golden Stool.
Yes.
So you can imagine, I remember even somewhere I was reading when they were just saying that the colonizer even had to take that stool literally and sit on that stool just to show that, they've really won this war.
Yes.
But we're talking about the women role when it came to fighting for, for the African liberation, so to speak. Let's now move to Nigeria.
Wow. Okay.
And when we are moving to Nigeria, we are going to be talking about Queen Aminatu, who is Queen Amina.
Yes.
And another important thing that I really like about the Queen Aminatu was a Muslim, was a Hausa Muslim. That tells me a lot. Muslim women can also lead. Muslim women should be able to lead, because from our own history, we can see that Queen Amina was instrumental in expanding her territory. Remember, all the women we've spoken about, they were trying to protect their territory from invasions, maybe the French, the British. But with Queen Aminatu, who was in Nigeria, she really expanded the Zazau territory.
True.
And that for me, first of all, is really a big, and she was Muslim.
Yes.
And we also talked about the fact that Queen Amina was also able to create trade routes throughout North Africa. So here, what are we talking about then? If a Muslim woman, a Hausa Muslim specifically, from Nigeria, is able to expand her territory and protect her people while expanding it, because I remember she was even building walls and all that around the territories that she's conquered. Why then are we still believing right now that our fellow women, our fellow Muslims, we don't want our Muslim women to lead? Even I really know of, a lot of Muslim women who are really instrumental right now in whatever it is they are doing. When it comes to media, we have Akina Amina Abdukadir. When it comes to even the CSAs, we've had CSAs who are Muslims, Muslim women.
Even the Tanzanian president.
Exactly. So it does not even matter which religion you are practicing as a woman.
Yes.
You should actually still have an opportunity to participate in leadership. I don't know, what do you learn from Queen Amina? What's the one thing when you're talking about Queen Aminatu that, comes in mind?
Oh, what I can remember that it was that she was a well-trained woman in war.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So that tells you something in itself. Because if you're able to, expand your territory, that means that you're pushing back other people.
You're ready for the for change.
Yeah.
I mean, what I just want to tell the people is that women care. Women definitely will not sit back and let someone invade their territory and keep quiet. I just want to say that when women are given these chances and when women now vote for their women, because it is said that women are the enemies of another woman. I don't believe that.
Yeah, me too. I don't believe that. When women form a specific goal, or a specific task that they want to accomplish, they set their mind to it and they actually accomplish it.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, when we're talking about Queen Amina, if she was really interested in setting her mind to expanding her territory.
Yes.
And she actually really got that, regardless of whether she is a woman or whether she's a Muslim. And you've said that she was really well trained and she was also fearsome. So the next thing I want us to ask ourselves, I'd want us to talk about the women who are in politics right now in Kenya, before the election, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we also know about women who are trying to vie for positions. We know about Mother Karua, who is vying with Baba. She is a woman. And when you read her history in terms of politics, you see a lot of challenges that she has had to go through.
Yeah.
You are actually even inspired as a woman. For example, like me as a woman who'd want to get into politics someday. I see her path and I'm motivated because she's been through a lot of challenges. She's actually been through, she has won a lot, she has achieved a lot in her political journey, so to speak. She has led her community, which she was an MP. So I don't know who is the current woman who's in politics and who is vying for a political seat that inspires you.
I would really not say inspire, but I support all women who are vying for this position.
Yeah.
It is not an easy path.
Yeah.
It is not a walk in the path. It is a path that also needs support from fellow men and from fellow women.
Yeah.
And if the chance is given to these women also in this politics, we will go far and we will experience changes in this in our country when it comes to social, economic and political diversities. Basically, I believe that women, they are the power and the tool of change, because it starts from the family, from the family setup, where they are trained well to take care of the family. They are trained well to make decisions. They are trained well to protect, especially when it comes to when you are a woman and you are the firstborn. You have to take care of your siblings.
You have to.
And make decisions that are of the best interest to them.
Yes, for sure. I really agree with you. We also have people like Naomi Shaban. I don't know if you remember Naomi Shaban. And that's a person from Taveta of course. And Naomi Shaban is also, for me, an inspiration when it comes to her political journey. And she's currently, she's been the leader of Majority Party in Parliament. She's really represented women in Parliament. Let me put it like that. She's been an inspiration that a woman can also be, in Parliament and conduct the duties that they're supposed to conduct.
True.
We can also not forget about, we can't forget about Gladys Bose-Sholei. Do you remember Sholei?
I do.
I remember Sholei when she was in judiciary.
Yes.
She made strides. I remember her right now when she's, a woman representative for Uasin Gishu County.
Oh, yes.
She's still making good strides. These are some of the women who inspire me in terms of their political journey and also in terms of their career. Because remember, this woman did not just come from nowhere. When you're talking about Gladys Sholei, Honorable Gladys Sholei did not just come out of nowhere. She studied. She went into, judiciary. She did her diploma in law also in KSL. She studied law in UON. She's worked as a lecturer. She's been a chief registrar of the judiciary. Even if she was, what's the name? Even if she was dismissed from being the chief registrar of judiciary in 2013 because of gross misconduct and corruption. Aside from that, when I say I'm inspired by a woman's journey, I'm not saying that this specific woman has not made mistakes. I am learning from her mistakes, and I can also see her learning from her own mistakes.
Yes.
And becoming a better person. Because of course some things are allegations and we are not here to, but Gladys Bose-Sholei is one person who's really been, instrumental in, motivating me. Can we also not forget Elizabeth Angoro?
Oh, yes.
We cannot end this conversation without talking about Elizabeth Angoro. She was in representing Kasarani constituency. She's actually done a lot when it comes to politics. And I remember she was under the ODM ticket. So there's actually a lot of women. We can't even finish talking about women who have, are really instrumental when it comes to politics. Do you have a specific woman that, you can talk about? Mimi, personally, right now I come from Kasarani, and we've been led by Mercy Gakuya. She is a woman. She is someone who's done a lot of things in Kasarani constituency. She is someone who still wants to vie again in the very coming elections. So I have been surrounded with women who are in politics and have done a lot. And I have also learned from their mistakes. And basically what I'm telling people today is that just make sure as a woman, go vote. Let us first start there. I'm encouraging all women to get out of their houses and go vote on the 9th of August, 2022.
Yes. I agree also that women should come out in large numbers and vote because you are exercising your democratical right. It is your right to participate in election and it is your right to participate in voting. Exactly. And with you voting, it will bring a lot of change because as you vote, you're also airing your interest in what you want your representative to do for you. So I am saying that hiyo siku amka mapema, pika chai kama unataka kupika chai. Tembea. Acha watoto hata kwa nini kwa neighbor. We kimbia when to vote because women, we really need women in politics and even in taking positions in corporates and even taking position in any sector, judiciary, executive, legislatures. Yes, and I'd also add in the fact that even if you're a woman who is pregnant, make sure you also go and vote because IEBC, the commission itself has really come out and said that if you're pregnant, we give you first priorities when it comes to voting. We're not going to make you, arrange a very big line. So even if you're pregnant, remember you're carrying the future. The future of the kid you're carrying is in your hands. So if you're a pregnant woman, go vote. Women with disabilities, let nothing stop you. Get out there, go and vote. Feel free to vote for whoever you want. We are not here telling you to vote for women only. We know that men also have the capability of leading us, but we're also talking to the general public and we're telling them women have always been great leaders.
they shall continue to be great leaders, and let us give them an opportunity here in Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah, so your parting shot, Diana, as we close this discussion.
I will say that when a woman is given a meaningful position, or even meaningful to be represented in legislatures, executive, or judiciary, or whichever position that you are holding in that company, or even if you're your own boss, definitely I will say that strive higher and higher. Okay, when you are elected as a MCA, next time just come out and say that you want to be a senator. Next time come out and say that we should not be limited as women by the views of our husbands, by the views of anyone. We should not be limited, because if one has a dream, definitely that dream is valid, and that dream will come into light,
for sure.
If you run for that dream, and if you run for that or for what you believe in.
For sure. Thank you so much for telling us that. And for me, my parting shot, I'm going to talk about the fact that women's political participation is fundamental, especially when it comes again to genuine democracy and also gender equality. And when we're talking about women political participation, we're able to facilitate a woman's direct engagement in public decision making. And when you're able to make a decision, you're able to ensure there is better accountability to you as a woman. So basically what I mean is that if on 9th I wake up and go vote for someone, I will be making a decision.
True.
And if that person enters in government or not, I need the person who enters in government to become accountable to me as a woman. So I want them to remember that they should not perpetuate gender inequality. And them to remember that when I go to the hospital to give birth, I am able to get nurses and doctors who are able to treat me because they've been paid well by the government. I'm able to remember that they are putting my maternal care into consideration. So again, I encourage people to go out and vote in large numbers. I encourage women get out of the house and go and vote. And I encourage women to also participate in politics in terms of getting elected, going for a nominated position or an elected position.
True.
Yeah, so this has been really a good discussion. Thank you so much, Miss Diana Aruka, for joining us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And guys, continue listening in, and thank you for listening to this end. And in case you have any comments, suggestions, feel free to even tell us, how has a woman empowered you? What do you think is the importance of having women in politics? Until next time, bye.
Music Podcasts, the home of podcasts in Kenya.